14. Write down 2014. And what I did was this weekend, I worked on what I think are 5 ways, so write this down, 5 ways to cash in on this year. 5 ways to cash in on 2014. Now we need to focus on this because what we've got is we have our Masters Business event that's coming up in the next couple weeks. So we're working on our business plans and we're thinking about different things that are going on. And we have the Mike Ferry event coming on the 27th. So you're probably not going to have your business plan totally completed and in writing before you come back from the business event. And I encourage that. I really do. There's nothing wrong with it. To me, a business plan is something that's living. It's moving. It's breathing. It's not something that you put down and that's it. It's done. Because stuff comes up. Things happen. But we have to have a target. We have to have something that we're focused in on. And for the most part, we have our goals that we want to achieve. And then we have a plan to achieve the goals. And then we have the schedule to achieve, to work the plan. That's how that's going to work out. But right now, between now and then, I'm going to give you 5 activities that you can be working on to make sure that you're doing business and that you're focused and that you make 2014 the most powerful year that you can. Because remember, this is the year that all the economists were pointing at as being the turnaround year. So if you did, not right now. So if you did really, really well, in 2013, all that is a warm-up to how great 2014 is going to be. So write this down. 5 ideas to cash in on this year. Number 1, we need to get serious. Number 1 is we need to get serious. Finally, right now, let's get serious about this business. Some of you have been in the business a long period of time. Some of you have been in the business a short period of time. But I'm here to tell you, this year, 2014, you have to be serious about this business. You have to be serious about your health. Write down your health. Because if you don't have health, you're not going to have wealth. Okay? The wealthy person is the healthy person. You need to write down your finances. So doing business is only one thing. You know, many companies do really well and sell lots of products and yet go out of business because of poor management, poor cash management, poor ways that they handled money. So we've got to look at the finances along the way. And we need to get serious about our family because there's nothing that will take us south more than health, and then the next thing on that list is what? Family. Nothing will take you south faster than if something's out of whack in your family. Whether it's your children, whether it's your grandchildren, whether it's your spouse or significant other, we need to be working on that. We need to get serious. We have to think in terms of these are the best of times and these are the worst of times. These are the best of times and these are the worst of times. We need to get serious whether you have a good future carved out for yourself. It's serious whether you make good income or not. It's serious whether you set up money for your retirement. I was shocked in talking to my accountant the other day that he said that most of America has less than $1 million, if they have anything, set away for their retirement. Now, I'm here to tell you that if you have $1 million put away for retirement, and that's what you have as an individual, you're going to have some real trouble retiring in the next few years. You really are. Because $1 million doesn't go very far today. We may think it does, and wow, wouldn't we like to have $1 million? But let me tell you, it doesn't go very far. You need to be planning and working on that right now. We need to get serious, finally get serious, for some of you, about your kids' college education. College is getting more expensive, not less expensive. My gosh, health care. I don't even want to go there. I mean,
Sick thinking about it.
yeah, I'm getting sick thinking about it. You know, it's you plan and you plan and you plan and you work and you plan and you do, and we buy the best policies, do the right thing, we're spending the right money, and all of a sudden, we have a situation where we might not be able to go to the hospital of our choice. What the heck's that about? We can't get the doctor of our choice? You know, if I choose that's what I want to do, I should be able to do that. If I'm paying for a great policy, I should be able to do that. We need to get serious about our health care. We need to get serious about our kids' education. We need to get serious about our retirement. We need to be serious and get serious in 2014 about our business and about our finances. Got to get serious. That's point number one. Point number two, we need to get smart. Write down, get smart. We need to not be casual about learning. Maybe 2012, 2013, we were a little casual about learning. Maybe the books that we were reading, maybe the scripts and dialogues we were working on, maybe we did our presentation, it was okay. Not anymore. You need to raise the bar on that. We need to get smart. Don't be casual about learning your scripts, not in 2014. Don't be casual about learning your dialogues and how to present. Don't be casual about previewing property. For those of you that don't believe me, just believe me. For those of you that believe me, get serious about this. You need to preview 5 houses a day, 5 days a week for the next 12 months. Okay? If you work 200 days for the year and you see 5 houses a day, a work day, you'll see 1,000 houses. If you saw 1,000 houses over the next 12 months, would you be more knowledgeable about the marketplace? Yes or no?
Yes.
And if you were more knowledgeable about the marketplace, is it possible that that could come across in a listing presentation and make the difference as to whether somebody might list with you or might not list with you? Is that possible?
Yes.
And if they thought you were knowledgeable and professional in the marketplace, do you think they would really give you as much trouble on the commission that you want to charge? No. Preview. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Except I'm going to talk about it every single week. Okay? I am. And in every class I can possibly. So either start doing it, either continue doing it, either get serious about doing it, or get some earplugs because I'm not quitting this year. Okay? That's the deal. I wrote down here, always be asking yourself, how can I improve? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What script or dialogue? How can I go to Marilyn or Cindy? What can I do with them to get better in my contracts? What can I do to improve? I wrote down here, don't be lazy in learning. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of wealth. And sometimes the people we coach, they don't want to start with learning. Okay, I don't need to learn my scripts and dialogues. I'm just going to go knock on doors. Well, they do that. How's that do when the client starts asking you questions? Or you haven't previewed properties and you don't know what's going on in the neighborhood? How smart or dumb do you feel? Pretty dumb, don't you? And previewing property is one of the simplest things that you can do. Absolute simplest thing that you can do. So learning is the beginning of wealth. 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 Money. Dinero. Okay? Some people want to start with motivation and they don't want to start with learning. I want you to think about this. If you're only motivated and you're an idiot, then now you are what? A motivated idiot. You're running around, but you're still an idiot. You don't know the marketplace. You're excited. That's great. But you wonder, some agents wonder, well, how come I'm not putting deals together? I'm prospecting, I'm talking to people, I'm doing all this kind of stuff. I'm run, but I'm not doing any deals. Because you have to get educated first. You have to learn first. You have to do those activities first, or at least in conjunction with, so that you can grow to your next level. Now, this is all to focus on for the next 3 or 4 weeks while we ramp up to the classes. I wrote down here, just because you heard the tapes doesn't mean you got it. Or, just because you read the book doesn't mean you got it. And when I tell you to read a book, read it. I wrote down here one of the things that you need to do. Here's a list of books that I've read. I read almost all of these every year. Now, obviously, I don't read cover to cover necessarily on a book that I have read a couple of times. But in every one of these books, I will read these books again, pieces of the book every year. Because there's things in every one of these that you need to be reminded. This list is at the front desk. Grab it, take it out, and in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, choose a book or two, buy it, put it next to your bed, and start reading it. How's that for a concept? And it's okay to buy books online, but if you ever want to keep a Barnes & Noble in your neighborhood, you might want to go there and buy the book. Okay? Because there are not a lot of Barnes & Nobles or bookstores left around, which is just a great place to take children. Just a complete side note. One of the best activities that you can do with your kids is take them to a bookstore. It was so heartwarming this weekend when we were at lunch in not South Coast Plaza, but the other one, Fashion Island. And we were having lunch, and my granddaughters were with us, and they looked across the parking lot, and there was a big Barnes & Noble sign. It's one of the last ones in Newport Beach. And they, oh my gosh, Papa, can we go to the bookstore? Are you kidding? Warm my heart. Walk them in and buy them the store. Let them go home with a stack of books instead of, who knows what, the Apple store, and they get a computer, which is nice, but it's different, isn't it? It's different. Just because you heard the tapes doesn't mean you got it. I listened to these tapes 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 times. I keep listening to them. You get ideas. You hear it different. You hear it different at different times. When you listen to tapes in the car, you think you're hearing it, but sometimes you zone out and you really don't hear it, or you're involved with another conversation. Take some time every day. Take 15 minutes. Sit down like you're in the front row of a Mike Ferry seminar. He's right there, you're right here, so you can't fool around, you can't play with your phone. And take 15 minutes and just put earphones on and listen to the tape and take notes. 15, 20 minutes a day. Do it at lunch. I wrote down here, those who do the work get the money. You should write that down. Those who do the work get the money. If you work, you get paid. If you go on appointments, you get paid. That's how this thing works. And then I wrote down here one of Jim Rohn's favorite quotes. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Point number 3. So number 1 is get serious. We wrote down number 2 is get smart. Number 3, get going. Get up and get going. No matter how smart you are, you have to take action. How many smart people do we know that are still sitting, getting ready to get set, analyzing, reading, rereading, setting up another chart, but they don't get going? So you've got to get serious, get smart, get going. I wrote down here, start small, and everything affects everything else. Start small, and everything affects everything else. Read and reread the Hot Market script 5 times. Start small. Then go out and preview 4 or 5 houses using the Hot Market script when you door knock around it. Start small. 3, 4 houses. Preview 3, 4 houses. So now what do you get when you preview property? You get knowledge of the marketplace, right? You get knowledge of what's going on in the market. And then when you door knock using the Hot Market script around it, you might get a lead or an opportunity. But because you now have seen, here's what's going on, you now know what to say and how to say it because you've done some practicing, right? Stay with me. Then you previewed some properties, so you saw some property in that neighborhood. And then when you door knock the neighborhood around that property and somebody says, what are houses selling for? Because you previewed property, you know. Does this make sense? It's a ripple effect. Start small, build on it. Start small and build on it. I wrote down every new discipline gets a new discipline, and great things happen. So now we had get serious, get smart, get going. Number 4, get better. Get better. I wrote down personal development and personal growth. Read more and hang out with richer, smarter people. Read more. Go to Barnes & Noble. Buy those books. You know, I see people in Barnes & Noble sitting on the floor reading the book. Okay? I just see them sitting on the floor reading the book. And I see people take their kids to the kids section and read books to the children in the book section, in the kids section. I see that all the time. Do that with the kids. What a great action and activity and great family thing that you could do with your, and cost you nothing. You don't have to walk out with a book. You don't have to walk out with a book. And if you do walk out with a book, it's a book that you keep and use and cherish forever. I wrote down here, you are the same today as you'll be in 5 years, except for 2 things. You are the same today as you will be in 5 years, except for 2 things. And that is the books you read and the people you hang out with. The books you read and the people you hang out with. The books you read and the people you hang out with. If you go the next 5 years and you don't read any books and you don't get any new friends and that uplift you and take you to the next level, then you're going to be in the same place. And if that's okay with you, well then okay. But if it's not okay with you, remember what I say, you are where you are because it's okay with you? So wherever you are, it's because it's okay with you. And by the way, that goes for those of you that did really well this year. And a lot of you did. You know, we had 40 agents do Centurion, entry-level Centurion and above. 40 of our 182 agents hit Centurion and above. It's spectacular. It's like right at 20% of the entire population of the company. That's amazing. Years ago, I had a goal. Maybe Marilyn remembers it. I don't know that Bill or any of the others do. I had a goal. I had a stated goal way back when we were just getting started. This goes back about 30 years ago, 25 years ago when I started the company. I wanted an all-Centurion office. That was my deal. I wanted an all-Centurion agent office. Can you imagine? Everyone earning in excess of $200,000 a year. Not a bad floor. Could be okay, right? But we have agents that did 400,000, 500,000, 700,000. We have 4 teams that did in excess of $1 million last year. Phenomenal, phenomenal growth. I wrote down here, you are the mirror of your influences. If you want to know how to create a positive change in your life, you should consider your major influences. The books you read and the people you interact with. The books you read and the people you interact with. If you hang out with a group of positive-minded individuals who believe in taking responsibility in their lives, you will be more inclined to grow in a positive direction. Those of us that are parents and have children, or even if you don't have children, you have children that you influence in your life, nieces and nephews. Don't you always say to the kids, or I would think you do, almost every parent I've ever met does, you guide the kid, the child, from who they hang out with, don't you? I don't like you hanging out with Susie. I don't like you hanging out with Louie. They are a bad influence on you. I remember the purple-haired guy that Adam was hanging out with. Adam, call me nuts, but I don't think that's a really good influence on you. We kid about that today. But in high school, there was one kid that had purple hair. Now, purple hair today, I think, is more common in school, so it might be a little bit more difficult. But it wasn't the right thing. We do that. Yet, how many people are in our lives that we hang out with that might not be the most positive influences for us? We allow those people in our lives. Don't do that. You know, think about this organization. Think about this company in running through the finish line, in finishing the year powerfully. You know, we had an amazing year. I'll go through the statistics more at our event on the 22nd. But in 2 months, because we ran through the finish line from October 30th through December 31st, collectively, you guys sold 362 properties in those 2 months. You opened 362 transactions. Now, to give you a comparison point, that's 60 deals more than the same period last year with one more day. 2012 had one more day in it than 2013 in terms of work days. Okay? It's just the way it worked out. Fascinating, isn't it? 60 more transactions. Some of you had a much better Christmas and a much better holiday because of it, didn't you? An extra deal closing, an extra transaction closing. You were able to do a little bit more with the kids, with the family because of it, a little extra trip. That's what I'm talking about. But there were companies and there were agents that sat on the sidelines and said things like, you can't sell in December. You can't list in December. Well, that's not true, is it? A lot of transactions were done in November and December. We did 362 of them. We closed, as a company, 370 transactions, which was up 70 closings over last year. 70 closings. 70 checks. 70 checks to you. It's you. 70 more checks. Because last year we still did 304. This year we closed 375 deals. Same periods of time. Think about that. Ask yourself, so consider this exercise. Ask yourself these questions and who you're hanging out with, okay? And I'll send this to you in an email, so I'm going to read through it quickly. I wrote down here, these are the questions you need to ask yourself. What kind of person do I want to be? What is the ideal self I'd like to become? And what are the qualities I want to possess? I'm going through this fast, I'll send it to you. Who are the 5 people I know that embody those qualities? Who are the 5 people that embody those qualities? Do these people match who I want to become in the future? Do they elevate me? Or do they bring me down? Are my friends proactive? Do they strive to make a contribution somewhere? Think about that. How many people do you hang around who actually work hard so that they can contribute to others, financially and with their time? They give to others on a regular basis. It's part of their business plan in a big way. And I don't mean they give $10 to Easter seals. You know, well, I buy 3 tickets once a week. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Who do they hang out with? Do they associate with wholesome activities? Do my peers have a healthy balance between work, social, family, and community? And are they strictly interested in their own success, or do they actually reach out to help others? Not only do I work to help you on a daily, weekly basis and help the coaches to help you, but there are 2 or 3 or 4 organizations that I reach out to help. I was on the phone last night for a half an hour working with somebody that needed some help somewhere. Are you a giving person of your time or not? Do you hang out with giving people or not? I wrote down here, in life, you're either an example or you're a warning. You're either an example or you're a warning. And number 5, you need to get stronger. Write down, get stronger. The 5th thought today, and the last one, is you need to get stronger. I am dedicated to getting the job done, and the job being a stronger muscle. I am dedicated to a stronger coping muscle. Deals are going to go south. Problems are going to come up with transactions. We need to work through the systems to make sure that they're strong and they're better, and yet we still need to be able to deal with those on a better basis. We need to talk better. We need to think better. We need to get stronger in every one of those areas. Every day, every week, every month. And we need to build the muscle of the do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. One of the greatest muscles. Simply do what you say you're going to do, which means you don't overpromise and underdeliver. You underpromise and you what? Overdeliver. Change your business in a heartbeat.